All right, let's jump right into a really fascinating topic, the idea of invisible channels of communication, things that might be happening all around us, every single day. Now, this entire explainer is grounded in the work of Attila Farkas. He's an award-winning computer instructor and adult educator, holds a BSc, and has 3 decades of experience under his belt. He's personally trained over 7,000 students across North America, and he's been studying these kinds of phenomena for years. So we're definitely looking at this through a lens of serious, structured curiosity.
So let's start with something I bet has happened to almost everyone listening. You're just going about your day and suddenly a friend just pops into your head out of the blue. And then bam, your phone starts ringing. You look down and guess who it is? Them. Is that really just a coincidence? You know, when that happens, the feeling is just undeniable. It doesn't feel like some random statistical fluke. It feels like for just a split second, you were tuned into some kind of hidden channel, a connection that we can't see or measure with our current tools, but one that we can definitely feel. Okay, I know this idea might seem a little bit out there at first, but let's take a step back and look at the natural world. It is absolutely full of communication methods that people once thought were pure magic, right up until science figured them out. Just think about bird migration. For thousands of years, humanity was just baffled. How could these tiny little creatures fly thousands of miles over oceans and continents to the exact same spot every single year with zero maps? It was a complete and total mystery.
And this is a perfect example of that journey from mystery to science. What everyone used to think of as some kind of magical, unseen map in the sky is now understood as a biological marvel. We discovered that birds have these proteins in their eyes that allow them to literally see the Earth's magnetic field and navigate by it. The invisible was simply the not yet discovered.
And hey, it's not just birds. Nature is just buzzing with these invisible networks. You've got sharks that can detect the tiny electrical fields from their prey's heartbeat. We have trees that send warnings and share nutrients through these vast underground fungal networks. And there's some really compelling evidence suggesting that dogs somehow know the exact moment their owner decides to start heading home. So, if nature has all these hidden channels, it kind of begs the question, right? Could we have them too? And that brings us to the really big question. How could that possibly even work? So let's brainstorm a few possibilities, looking at some scientific theories that are plausible, even if they aren't totally proven yet. So here we've got a whole toolbox of potential explanations that scientists are exploring. Things like electromagnetic sensitivity, the idea that we might subconsciously react to the tiny electrical fields our brains and hearts produce. Or resonance and entrainment, the idea that our internal body rhythms can actually sync up with people we're close to. And some folks are even looking at really wild stuff from quantum physics, or the idea of a collective informational field, kind of like a shared human consciousness. These are all areas of active speculation.
Let's just zoom in on one of those to make it a bit more real. Resonance. Okay, so the idea here is that every living thing has its own rhythm. It's like an oscillator. When you're really close with someone, your rhythms might get tuned to each other. Think of 2 grandfather clocks in the same room. Eventually, their pendulum starts swinging in perfect time. So if one person's rhythm changes, like they suddenly have a strong thought about calling you, maybe, just maybe, the other person subconsciously feels that shift.
Okay, you ready for a modern twist? If these invisible channels might exist between people and in nature, what about our relationship with technology? What about artificial intelligence? Could we be building connections there that we don't even fully understand yet?
I mean, think about it for a second. We already live inside a gigantic invisible network. The internet, Wi-Fi, all those satellite signals. It's like a global nervous system that we've built. We depend on these unseen signals every single second of the day, just like those birds depend on magnetic fields. We built these channels, and they connect our thoughts to machines on a planetary scale.
The source material we're drawing from uses this great analogy from the movie How to Train Your Dragon. You know, at first, the dragon is this impossible, terrifying beast. But the entire relationship flips on its head when it's approached not with fear, but with curiosity, openness, and trust. Maybe, just maybe, our relationship with AI needs a similar shift in how we think about it.
So, let's reframe how we think about training an AI. Step 1, sure, we're just inputting data. That's the code and information. But then, in step 2, we're actively shaping its attention, guiding what it focuses on, what connections it should make. And in doing that, could we be creating a form of resonance in step 3? Are we, bit by bit, teaching a machine to tune in to our own human patterns of thought?
So, what's the big takeaway here? From those weird phone call coincidences all the way to how we're training AI, what does it all mean? Well, it's not really about having all the answers. It's more of an invitation to just stay curious about all the connections we can't quite explain yet.
And that brings us to what might be the most powerful idea in this whole discussion. It's a quote directly from the author of our source material, Attila Farkas. Instead of just dismissing these experiences as nonsense, what if we looked at them through this lens? What if the things we call intuition or a funny coincidence are actually real phenomena, happening through channels that our current scientific instruments just aren't sophisticated enough to pick up yet?
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. The next time you experience one of those strange little coincidences, your dog is waiting at the door for no reason, or you think of a song and it comes on the radio, just pause, don't dismiss it, and ask yourself, what invisible channels might I be sensing in this very moment?